You're listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast, a Texas Tech athletics podcast where food and sports clash at the goal line. Here are your hosts, Spencer and Michael.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the episode 23 Personnel Podcast. This is your host, Spencer, joined, as always, by Michael. Michael, what's up, man?
Yeah, we've already recorded an episode. Look, we're just, I don't know. We should have been recording this whole time. Should we share with the folks at home what we're preparing?
We are, yeah. So our pre-recording meeting, which is usually a couple minutes. Hey, how's it going? How's whatever, blah, blah, blah. 35 minutes talking about restaurant sauces, and the conversation evolved so fast and so broadly that we are going to have a off-season bracket where we go through and pick the best restaurant sauces. We've got categories, the condiments versus straight up sauces, or wing flavors, or ranch. Ranch maybe its whole own region.
Yeah, the whole ranch region is one to be reckoned with.
Yeah, there are some heavy hitters. Dion's, it's going to be hard to knock off. Wingstop, it's up there. Slim Chicken surprisingly has a couple of competitors that will fill out that side of the bracket. The other thing, we need you, loyal 23 Personnel listener, to join us. We will be calling on you. If you have an expertise in sauce, you will help us go through the brackets. Let us know if you want to join for that. We will be doing this in the off season, recording as we do, getting all your thoughts, your not predictions, but your preferences, your tastes. Share with universe your excellent food choices. One person I think we can go ahead and eliminate as for being called on for food choices, Michael Labar. Michael, I'm so sorry, man. Too many years of
called him by name. Man.
Well, I just need to make sure that we knew we were
There's a lot of
all
Michaels.
clear.
Yeah.
No, nothing but love, man. But we've had our differences. Food before. So yeah. Better if you've got a camera and a microphone. That when we call on, you can join us here on the stream. But prepare yourselves. Submit your entries.
Yes, I was about to say, until then, hit us up on Twitter. Yes, hit us up at 23 Personnel on Twitter. Are the DMs open, Spencer?
DMs are open. They're
the
flooded
DMs are open
with college huddle news and coordination. But DMs are open for your application to join us for the restaurant sauce bracket pick'em challenge, and for your submissions.
Yes, we want your submissions. Well, right now we're including all of Slim sauces, which we'll have to narrow down. We'll have to throw some out, but we only have 46. If we're trying to get to 64, I think we can, though. I think we still have a lot of Mexican food that we can start to lean on a little bit heavier.
We've got
this list.
We've got a whole thing now. I don't know if we want to limit to restaurants that are still open.
Also, a fair point.
But there was a restaurant Samantha and I, the wife and I, frequented quite often over there on the west part of town that's no longer open, in Lone Wolf, and they have some fantastic sauces. I
thought you were going Casa Olay on me.
No, but they're also on this list. Their green sauce is on the list. Let's be honest.
It's got to be. I think defunct. I would have to take your word on the Lone Wolf, though. I only went a couple of times, but they did have a nice salsa bar. I just remember it being pretty expensive.
We would just get their burritos and
Freebirds. Freebirds had some decent sauces.
Oh yeah, Freebirds.
Okay.
So yeah, that what was supposed to be what do we learn questions segment of tonight's recording is like, no, we're gonna break that out. We will go through snow cone flavors. That was a thing we talked about last week that we'll have to round back on. What do we learn? We have to get to some interaction we got because I wasn't even paying attention to the YouTube comments, like an idiot. And blame the producer. We had some comments coming in that like we need to respond to. One, shout out to Last Sunrise for sticking with us, even though we never acknowledged them.
I have the YouTube up now, so if anybody
I do too.
comments now, I'll actually look
I've got
at it.
Yeah.
Major apologies, Last Sunrise. We didn't even have it pulled up on our screens.
No, because I've got two different versions of the video feed, and I was just looking at the Riverside and not the YouTube. My mistake. Last Sunrise. So we were talking about picking up Sonic on the way to the baseball game, and we talked about how this one location that I know of here in town had changed their fries to crinkle cut. I didn't even know that was a thing. Last Sunrise confirmed his locations giving out crinkle cut fries now. Not giving out, but they've switched over to crinkle cut.
That's bizarre to me.
He wanted to let me know that his Hispanic family also would look down on him for putting ketchup on his tamales. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's a gringo thing. It's a gringo thing, but it's a thing.
It's not just gringos. Yes.
And then
I know 2 or 3 separate families.
Well, there you go.
Who can make tamales and then can also put ketchup on the said tamales.
Yeah. It's not authentic, but it's tasty.
Yeah, there you go.
The other thing, and he had a couple of submissions here. We were responding to a question from Kyle about what is something that we're confident we eat 99% more than 99% of the regular population. And how many burgers per year the average American eats. He said he had a $5 biggie bag from Wendy's for a year. And so the average, I think it worked out to, what was it, 100 burgers?
Yeah, it was 90 or 100, something like that.
Yeah, so that's
a little over 1 a week, not quite 2.
Yeah. Almost 2 burgers a week. He said, I killed that with at least 365 burgers that year. It's solid work. I hope they gave you some stock in Wendy's, or at least input on their next.
Gosh,
Frosty
imagine how many
flavor.
points he'd have on the app now if this was post or pre-app.
It's got to be pre-app.
Oh man,
unfortunate miss there.
Should we talk about tech sports at all?
We will. We got plenty to talk about tech sports.
Okay.
I also have one more thing. I got to open it. We got to talk about the coconut cream Dr. Pepper.
I saw that. I saw you mention that at the end.
Just gonna get it right here.
There it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, you captured that perfectly.
And it's not a beer. I'll hold it up for the camera a little bit better. In my
Confirmed.
Stormguard koozie. Shout out to Stormguard. Not a sponsor, could be, but we did have a pretty good downpour tonight. So if you get your roof inspected, your skylights, I couldn't think what they were. You need to get them patched. Call my boys over at Stormguard. Okay, Texas Tech stuff, sports stuff. We have football to talk about. There were Big 12 win totals, not like conference win totals, right? Or is this
no? Yeah, it's season okay. Win totals. Of
season
the
win
12
totals
games on the schedule. Yeah,
for the Big 12 members. We'll go through those. Give a quick over under, just initial impression. New staff and promotions announced. Got a former Red Raider rejoining the staff, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. Some movement on the basketball staff, and a ridiculous NIL number that we saw. Dude, we have to talk about Great Osabor. We just have to put this in here. That's ridiculous. You heard about this, right?
I did.
Okay. We'll talk about that. Baseball, somehow, some way, we ain't dead yet. We'll be playing in the Big 12 tournament. We got weathered into a 10th place finish. Saved by the Big 12 canceling a
There's a Creed song called Weathered. That seems like an appropriate theme song for this season.
Yeah, weather took a series away from the softball team. May have saved the baseball team. May have saved Tadlock from some additional heat. We'll see. So we got lots and lots of baseball to talk about. Questions beyond the restaurant sauces, and lots to talk about with what do we learn. So let's jump to football. Let's go through the season win totals. These were released by Vegas Insider this week. We'll just go top to bottom. Quick over under and thoughts, because some of these feel awfully high. And then yeah. So we got two teams at the top, Kansas State and Utah, both at 9.5.
Don't hate it. That seems about right to me. That will be the top two. Had Arizona been able to hang on to their coaching staff, I think they would be in that mix as well. Surprised Oklahoma State's not, because they always kind of should be, in my opinion. But I have no qualms with that. What say you?
To be fair to Utah, I've not looked at their schedule. That feels high.
Yeah.
Kansas State.
It can.
I am May 15th worried about Avery Johnson shredding us.
Okay, there we go. I thought you were just worried about him in general. Like,
No,
is he
no,
okay?
I'm worried. No, I'm worried that he's just gonna eat everybody's lunch.
Okay, fair.
Utah, I don't know their roster. I don't know their schedule. I mean, I know they're playing Big 12 schedule, so there's that. I don't know.
They're not playing
non-con.
Texas Tech, so who cares?
So yeah. All right. So I would say Kansas State, probably a close over. Utah, give me the under. Let's go with the 8.5 schools. Kansas and Arizona.
Wow.
Both of these immediate for me, unders.
I think so too, especially for Arizona. But let me see who Kansas is playing in non-con. So they're playing Lindenwood.
Lindenwood. Who the F is
who the F is Lindenwood?
Okay, that's a win. Illinois.
Yeah.
Do they get the revenge there? But they're going to be on the road.
They will.
UNLV.
UNLV.
I mean, okay, so they're 3-0. Maybe 2-1, but probably 3-0. West Virginia could be a sneaky good game.
Right. And we'll get to that later, but
I was in Kansas. This is the Kansas schedule. TCU.
They play Colorado. They host Colorado, even more specifically.
Like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'd probably pick Kansas to be favored in a lot of these games.
Right. You look at it and you think maybe 8.5 is not a crazy line, but I can't do it. I think I would take the under.
They're going to finish so strong.
But if they finish 8-4, that's fantastic.
So like they could have some bumps in the middle, but like they're going to start off 3-0 probably. And they're going to win their last three: BYU, Colorado, Baylor. So and then the middle there, they got to get 2 against West Virginia, TCU, Arizona State, Houston. They're going to beat Houston. They're probably going to beat Arizona State. Shoot. So yeah, I mean, I hate it because that takes some, I guess, a win away from Texas Tech. No, it doesn't, because they don't play Texas Tech. But maybe Kansas hits 9-4, 9-3. I don't know. Arizona though, whole new coaching staff. I'm on the under for them. Let's look at their schedule real quick. New Mexico, Northern Arizona. Who is their?
Then at Kansas State immediately. So their third non-con game is, where is it? Oh,
I don't see it.
Zoom in.
Because everything else is Big 12 games.
This is so annoying.
Do they only have 11 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe they're playing somebody in conference as a non-conference because it was already on the schedule. Because, like, okay, so legit, they play New Mexico, Northern Arizona. Then it's Kansas State, Arizona, Texas Tech, BYU, Colorado, West Virginia, UCF, Houston, TCU, Arizona State. That's 10 conference games or conference opponents, but one of them's got to be non-con.
Yeah, you would think.
Let's look up on their website. No, they're all listed as Big 12. What the heck? They're all listed as conference games. No. Kansas State's not.
Okay, they'd already scheduled.
They
were
must have already
gonna
had
play
that on
them.
the schedule. Yeah.
Okay.
That sucks for Arizona. I mean, let's be honest. To have a non-conference game and have it be Kansas State at Kansas State, man. Or maybe it helps them because they're playing Kansas State and it's not going to hurt them in the conference standings at the end of the season. I don't know. Give me the under though. All right. Then we have 5 schools at 7.5: Texas Tech, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, UCF, TCU. This all feels about right.
It does. It really does. It's a tough decision on all of them. Oklahoma State's the only one I would, and I'm including Texas Tech in this, is the only one I would just without knowing anything go, I might pick the over on them. And then now I'm looking at who they're playing. They're playing South Dakota State, Arkansas, and Tulsa. That's their non-con. And then let's see. Utah at Kansas State, West Virginia at BYU, at Baylor, Arizona State at TCU, little old Texas Tech, and then at Colorado. So they have a chance to do pretty well on that schedule. But they do play, 2 of the higher ranked preseason teams with Utah and Kansas State. I'd probably pick them as the over. I don't know if I'd pick anyone else as the over though.
Well, I was kind of leaning under on Iowa State. They have a fairly favorable schedule.
Well, what helps with Oklahoma State is they don't have to play Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
That's
who else doesn't have to play Oklahoma?
Your Red Raiders. Yeah, that's been a guaranteed L for both of us. I'd like to see our combined record the last decade. It's probably just brutal. Like 2-18 or something.
Yeah, probably. So Iowa State hosting North Dakota. They go to Iowa City to take on the Hawkeyes. Arkansas State, Houston. They're probably going to beat Houston. Baylor at home. Probably going to beat Baylor. West Virginia could be good. UCF could be good. Texas Tech in Ames in November. Kansas, Cincinnati, Utah, Kansas State. They like their schedule gets progressively harder each and every week.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Depending on where you fall on Texas Tech, but it goes.
Cincinnati's kind of a blip, but
maybe. But
yeah. We'll see.
UCF. Let's look at their schedule real quick. Who do they play?
UNH. I think that's North Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Sam Houston and Florida are their non-conference games.
So 2-1.
Maybe Florida's a mess.
Well, they have to go to Gainesville. That's kind of my only.
And they're not. They're doing it without John Reese Plumlee. Let's be honest. He ain't walking through that door. Sorry. All right, let's take too long. West Virginia, does 6.5 feel low to you?
Yes, over.
Okay.
That's like the only one I feel really strongly about. I learned my lesson last year.
Yeah, and it's like they're being timid about do we believe in West Virginia this year? I mean, I don't know. Okay. 2 teams at 5.5, Colorado and Baylor. Colorado, I think everybody they lost the shine on that. They're like, oh, they're actually really, really bad. And trying to replace 80 scholarship members in the roster, probably not the way to do it. But
especially defensively, Good luck.
North Dakota State, not an easy non-conference game.
No.
Nebraska, not an easy non-conference game. Colorado State,
Obviously.
probably closer than you would want.
Well, that was one I think Colorado won in some crazy fashion against Colorado State last year.
Yeah, but then they've got a sneaky hard conference schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of Baylor, which I'm not high on Baylor, UCF in Orlando, Kansas State, at Arizona. They get at Arizona and then home versus Cincinnati. They get a little stretch there. Then they come to Lubbock, host Utah, go to Lawrence, host Oklahoma State.
It's a pretty strong finish. I would have them. I think between these two 5.5 teams, one will go over, one will go under. And in this case, I'm going to put Colorado as the under and Baylor as the over.
Okay.
Just barely.
I would agree with that.
But I don't think Colorado's going to be 1-11 or something. I just think they're only going to win 4 or 5.
Yeah. Arizona State 4.5. BYU Houston all at 4.5. Okay, Arizona State's non-conference schedule. Wyoming, you didn't learn your lesson apparently.
What's the elevation difference?
Well, Wyoming's coming down to the desert.
Oh God!
In August, so it's probably like 1,000 degrees.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is a big test for Wyoming.
Yeah,
7,200 feet to the Sahara, brother. Let's go.
Then they get Mississippi State.
Oof.
Granted, it's in Tempe there, but then Texas State in San Marcos.
A tough game.
Texas Tech in Lubbock. Like
probably not. The Jones is different at not. Did you know that?
But I think that's a Thursday night game.
Nah, it would.
No,
the schedule I have pulled up, it would say that it's a Saturday game.
Texas State is a Thursday night.
Really?
Oh, and that's on like a Friday night. That's like on short rest because they play short rest. They host Mississippi State September 7th, and then they're at Texas State September 12th.
I show they're there the 14th. Oh, anyway, this is the old Big 12 schedule, so it may have
the Google version is what I'm looking at. It may be wrong. Okay, so they have 2 Texas schools in Texas: Kansas, Utah, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, UCF, Kansas State, BYU, Arizona. It's a rough introduction.
they just
BYU
had a rough outro. Yeah, I'm taking the under.
BYU, are they more well adjusted to take on the Big 12 schedule this year?
I feel good about them.
Another team not learning the lesson. They're going to Wyoming. They're going to Wyoming
in week 3 too. Just when you think you got something going,
but
then you go up to Wyoming.
There won't be that much of a altitude shock for them.
Well, it's just a bus ride, probably.
Yeah, it's not that far, but
yeah.
Southern Illinois, SMU, Wyoming. Then they get Kansas State. And they get the return trip to Waco.
Imagine
Arizona.
playing a football game in Dallas on September 7th. Brutal.
And then the next
117 degrees.
The next week be up in Laramie, Wyoming.
Yes.
Home versus Kansas State, in Waco versus Baylor, home versus Arizona, home versus Oklahoma State, in Orlando. Right, it's the end of October at that point. And then go up the road to Utah, home versus Kansas, into the desert for Arizona State, home versus Houston. So they're going to win those last 2, I think. They're going to lose the 2 before that, Kansas and Utah. Split UCF and Oklahoma State. So they're 3-3. Beat Arizona 4-3. Beat Baylor 5-3. Give me BYU over.
I feel pretty good about the over with them. I just think it's I think they underachieved last year. I didn't think they were a bad football team necessarily. They just underperformed. So I would take the under on Arizona State, but the over on BYU.
Oh,
Houston?
Houston, you idiots.
Are they
They're
going to
traveling.
Wyoming too?
No, they're traveling to Norman.
Oh, bless their hearts. To play a non-conference game
Yeah, obviously, because they're
at 11
SEC.
a.m. in Norman.
Please let it be an 11
For
o'clock.
the love of God, let it be at 11 a.m. They love those.
They're home versus UNLV in Norman for Oklahoma. Home versus Rice. Why would you? That's stupid. Cincinnati, Iowa State, TCU, Kansas, Utah, Kansas State. That's brutal. Arizona, Baylor, BYU. So the middle of their schedule is going to suck.
Yeah, and two of their last three are on the road.
Yeah. It's hard to go under 4.5.
They did it last year.
Yeah, I'd probably take the under there.
Yeah, I think I would too.
All right. Don't hold us to it. We didn't write anything down, but
No, we're not keeping track of this.
so there you go. New staff and promotions for the Texas Tech football team coaching staff. Darcel McBath coming back to Texas Tech as an analyst. Love this move. Love it. Not only was he a big time player for you 15 years ago, went on to play in the NFL, had some success there, and you love that he comes back and it's going to be on his alma mater staff. I don't know. That makes me all warm and fuzzy. I love that. The rest of these guys, I have no idea who they are. I haven't looked into them any bit. But Trent Vassey, offensive quality control. Taylor Young, defensive quality control. Tito Overton and Jackson Kimball are offensive graduate assistants. Shelby Saul, coordinator of on-campus recruiting. And Wes Harwell, assistant director of scouting. That scouting staff, man, getting bigger and bigger every day.
That's great.
Any thoughts?
Didn't even know what those were
No.
until Joey McGuire came along. Showed us the way. Yeah, I don't have any thoughts. I like you said, always good to see a Red Raider come back, especially when it's not like a forced hand super important position or something that you feel like they're hiring just because they are a Red Raider. McBath can come in as an analyst and get his feet wet and figure out where he wants to go from there, and they can
hold on though.
Maybe play with him going to different spots. So
he was the cornerbacks coach at Mississippi State 3 years.
Maybe he's looking to do something else.
This feels like you took advantage of some relationships and leaning on the fact that this is his alma mater to get a position coach on staff as an analyst, which I think is a savvy move.
It's saving that budget. That's what you're doing.
Well, you can still probably pay him pretty well, but
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Coaching career 2016 at North Texas as a defensive quality control, 2017 Washington State defensive quality control, cornerbacks at Washington State, 2019 interim co-defensive coordinator and cornerbacks coach for Washington State, and then 2020 until just recently was cornerbacks coach at Mississippi State. Love that. Played for the Broncos 2009 2010, the Jaguars in 2011, and the 49ers in 2012 and 13. So he's got a Super Bowl ring. That's pretty awesome too. All right. Anything else football-wise? You still upset?
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Still upset we didn't get to see a spring game?
A little bit. Not really upset, but just it's just such a stark contrast from what they did last year. I almost think they're overcorrecting, but probably not.
Ow.
The access to the program and the constant videos and everything, they gone. That's probably okay. It's probably for the best.
Yeah. All right.
Who cares?
I don't
Just
have I
win.
don't have anything else. Yeah.
Me neither.
Basketball. Another. I will give benefit of doubt, and I say it's a savvy move that you're getting a former head coach that wasn't fired on staff as an assistant. You hired Jeff Linder, the former Wyoming head coach, and former because he left Wyoming um, after going 80-50 in his 4 years there, to come be your assistant coach to take Dave Smart's spot on the staff. There obviously was a previous connection here. He coached with McCaslin at Midland in the mid 2000s, and then went on to Northern Colorado before taking the head job at Wyoming.
I
So,
wonder, will he be successful down here in this lower elevation?
well, he was at Midland. He's used to it. He's been here before.
Yeah, but he's been gone. He's been off the plains for a while.
Since you've been gone.
Mm.
Sorry.
I found that Creed song "Weathered," and I've been listening to it off and on while we're recording. It's really good. It's a banger. That should be the outro.
Okay. Let me.
It's got a long. It's got like a. Let's see. About a 25-second intro. So you could hit it. You're a professional.
Let me test it here on the fly.
Okay.
I do need you to connect though.
Because we're about to talk about baseball, so we might as well bring up the song "Weathered." You did have one other thing to cover, though. Did you want to talk about greats? How great thou NIL?
Yeah, so we had heard that you were in the running for Great Osabor, transfer out of Utah State, and that he and his camp were commanding 7-figure NIL deal, so $1 million, and we're just like that's a bit too rich, that's extravagant. But you were in there. Come to find out, he follows his coach from Utah State up to Washington, and it's reported his NIL deal pushing $2 million.
I keep thinking someone who knows the economy help me. My family is starving, but I keep thinking that this will eventually stop happening. But I guess people just haven't been burned enough yet. Enough Joe Schmoes have not been asked to subsidize their billion-dollar endowment schools student athlete program yet. Not enough of them have lost money on it yet, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not surprising that this is kind of where we were going, but this is not the intended, or at least the presented use case of NIL. Like you wanted athletes to be able to capitalize on their fame, their success, their NIL, their name, image, and likeness. Be able to sell jerseys and cards and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if
Signatures.
if Nike wants to make a shoe based on you, then you've earned that right for them to cut a deal with with you, but not necessarily some mystery pool collective of people who just throw money into a hat and say that they will pay someone $2 million to come play basketball there.
Yeah, but now you're using that money to recruit, and not
Yes.
like it's a pay for play kind of, except you're not not based on performance.
Yeah,
it's
there's no cap.
And it's projecting. Like you don't know, like the same way it kind of it hit Texas Tech in a negative way when we spent all that money on Fardaws, right? And
Yes.
I think his deal was rumored to be like $700,000, $800,000, and then you got like nothing from him. You're like, well, I'm glad we paid all that money for nothing.
He
The
played
same
4
thing,
games, maybe
same
5.
thing could happen to Washington, right? Like, because this is not like tied to his performance, not like incentive based or whatever. So
But it should be. How do we get to that point? How do we get to the point where, well, if you play less than 7 games, we'll give you 100,000 and call it a day. Thanks for coming. We'll see you in the portal. Ah, there it is.
I say, is that coming through?
Yeah, I can hear it.
All right, good. We'll
Yeah.
get to that later. But
Okay.
I got it.
It's like 25 seconds right on the dot when Scott comes in.
Okay. So yeah, I'm glad that Texas Tech is not more heavily pursuing this young man, because that we are not blue blood NIL collective program. Like, we're not spending that kind of money. And if we were spending that kind of money, it would be like everything we've got budgeted. Right. So like a program like Texas Tech may have $2 million to spend in NIL deals for basketball. But if we're committing $2 million, it's going to be across 6, 7, 8 guys, 10 guys, the whole roster, right? Like,
Possibly,
if you were to spend that money on one guy, like, you've got nothing left.
And this may work out great for Washington. Who knows? But it's risky. I'm pretty sure I would feel the same way if Tech somehow had come up with that money. I would not feel good about it. I don't think I'd feel good about it. I'd feel like they're stretching out a little bit, and like you said, they're probably going to run out of funds to maybe convince other guys to stick around or stay, or it just feels like it would hurt them a little bit more. But congratulations to Washington on having more donors willing to subsidize your state-funded program.
Yeah. That's all I had with the basketball NIL.
Okay.
Let's get to baseball, softball, round ball.
Yeah,
hardball.
I'll do a softball update real quick. This will be the final one of the year.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, Red Raiders did win game 1 in the Big 12 tourney. Took down Iowa State in a thrilling 8-inning game, 10-9. No, and as we mentioned last week, that was their first and only time to play them this season, because they did have a 3-game series that was canceled. So went on to play number 1 seeded in the Big 12 and in the entire dang country, UT, in the second game. Lost that one 4-13 in 5 innings. But with a little bit of hope going into the weekend, thinking that they could still hear their name called on Selection Sunday, UT went on to face OU in the tourney championship and lost 5-1. Good job, OU. But so the ladies at Seeing Scarlet are not thrilled with how this went down. So the Big 12 is the second ranked conference in the country in softball. I believe SEC is number 1. And there were 6 teams. Nope. 5 teams from the Big 12 that made the tournament. UCF, UT, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and OU were all in the tournament. But lumped in with those tournament selections were Penn State and Indiana, who, Seeing Scarlet, I don't know if it was Sibby or Shelby who tweeted this, but particularly upset with those picks. She pointed out that Penn State and Indiana both in from the 5th ranked conference in the country over Texas Tech from the 2nd ranked. Now, she's not on here to defend herself, and I'm not even sure who it was. I'm assuming it was Shelby, but Penn State was tied for 6th in the Big 10. Texas Tech finished 8th in the Big 12. Penn State and Indiana finished with 12-11 records in conference. Texas Tech finished at 8-16.
Indiana's total record, they won 40 games.
They won 40 games, and Penn State won 34. So I don't. There's probably something I'm missing. Maybe I need to look at RPI, something like that, to try to understand the ire here. But I've taken off my scarlet colored glasses, and I don't think that this is as egregious as it may look, because then that would have meant that the Big 12 would need 3 more teams to get in, to get Texas Tech in. If they're going to take 8 teams from the Big 12, they're not going to take the 6th and 7th place team over Texas Tech. They're going to take the first 8. So anyway, I just thought that was. I didn't quite understand the ire, aside from there are Red Raiders, and we want them to do well, and we want them to be successful. But if you would like to hear more about their opinion, go to Seeing Scarlet. Visit their website, seeing-scarlet.com. I said it right that time. Follow them on Twitter at Seeing Scarlet, and you can check out everything they have to say about the softball team and what led to their decision to feel like they were not treated fairly going into the postseason.
Yeah. Is the baseball team being treated fairly, Michael?
By the
Feels like there's
universe,
some kind of cosmic, karmic debt we're having to pay. I don't
maybe so.
understand.
Maybe there is some sort of karmic thing going on. Like y'all have made the postseason one too many times. Let's tone it back a notch this year. And have you finished the season in Phoenix for whatever the hell reason with 3 games that no one cares about? Sorry,
It means nothing.
but we're about to talk about it for 20 minutes. But yeah. I mean, truly, it means nothing. I don't know who decided this was a good idea to finish the season on a non-conference tournament.
I'm not sure.
Especially after an 0-8 run in the Big 12.
Your last conference win, Michael, was almost a month ago.
Yep.
At least 3 weeks ago. Against West Virginia when you swept them. Since then, you've gone 0-8, swept by Kansas, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. It would quite possibly could have been 0-9. The Sunday game this past weekend against Oklahoma State got weathered out and not rescheduled. Thankfully, at least for Texas Tech, because that secured their 10th place finish in the conference. Had they played that game and lost, it would have opened up the possibility of finishing 11th.
Rusted and weathered.
Are we ready for that?
No, not yet. No, I think you close it. That's
okay. Yeah. So locked into the 10th spot. The 9th place UCF could get swept, but they hold the tiebreaker over Texas Tech. So even though they could finish with the same overall record, they could finish with the same conference record because UCF won that series. They would stay in 9th place. Baylor could sweep their series, but because they would have one more loss than Texas Tech, even though they have the same number of wins, but one more loss, the winning percentage would hold Texas Tech ahead of Baylor. But had Texas Tech played that other game and lost and Baylor swept, then you would have tied with Baylor, and when they hold the head-to-head against you, they would have slid into the 10th spot and final Big 12 tournament slot. But not so this year, even though you were absolutely pathetic in Stillwater. First time you lost not only a game, but a series in Stillwater in like a decade. Ryan Free on Friday night got absolutely blasted, Michael. Gave up 11 earned runs on 6 home runs.
Well, I knew it must have been pretty bad because when I updated the pitching, the ERA went up by like 0.3 or something.
Yeah. The season ERA
ERA went up by 0.3, I think.
In 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Oklahoma State was up 11-0 by the end of the third inning. Bullpen gave up another 5 runs Friday night. Combined 12 walks issued. Your batters struck out 12 times Friday night. I think you had 4 hits. It was, no, 4 hits. Like 7 hits or something. Just really, really good for Oklahoma State. Really, really bad for you. Like, okay, just wash it. We'll come back on Saturday. You took an early 2-run lead, 2-0 lead, top of the first. Like, all right, here we go. Setting the stage. Immediately tied up in the bottom of the first. and then it's a score, like it's tied 2-2 from the second inning into the bottom of the seventh. And then Oklahoma State puts up 4 runs on a 3-run blast and then a solo home run. Michael, you got hammered to the tune of 9 home runs on the weekend. In 2 games, you gave up 9 home runs. Was not your night at the plate. You struck out 15 times on Saturday. So your your weekend series total, 27 strikeouts. Half of your outs recorded in your 2 games were strikeouts.
Oh my gosh.
Struck out 15 times to 1 walk on Saturday. So then the weather gods gracefully like, nope, you don't get to play on Sunday. Big 12's like, nope, we're not going to reschedule this. Because it could have been worse. You could have gotten swept by 3 games and had the possibility of missing the Big 12 tournament entirely.
Which
so, maybe not the worst thing.
Is that so bad at this point? Are they going to win a game in the Big 12 tournament?
As a 10 seed, probably not. But who knows?
Well,
I mean, you could get hot.
I know, like your caption says, we ain't dead yet. That's true.
Ain't dead yet. Team batting average, Michael.
Yeah, it dropped to
3rd. Your weekend was so horrific. Your ERA bumped up 0.2 or 0.3, whatever it was, earned runs per off of 2 games. Your team batting average dropped to 3rd. It had been first all season. You're only first now in total hits and runs scored. Everything else that we've been tracking that was in first place has dropped. Damian Bravo still first in the Big 12 in batting average. His lead over second place is down to 0.012. A few weeks ago, it was 100 points. Like he was batting like 480. And we're like, that's ridiculous. Granted, that's obviously unsustainable. Batting almost 400 on a season is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
well, he's battled with injury and stuff too.
Yeah, I'm not saying like this is anything to do with Damian Bravo struggling. He's had, like you said, he's dealt with an injury, coming back down to earth. But back down to earth for him is still batting nearly 400. So not at all like griping. I'm just pointing out like he's still big first in Big 12 batting average. Your pitching, horrendous. You're 10th in the Big 12. Combined ERAs of 5.72. Your starters are up over 6 now. This was the jump we talked about over the 2 games, mainly because of Ryan Free. But 6.02 ERA, 164 whip. Opponents are batting 290 against your starters. Gave up 14 earned runs. Your starters did this weekend in 2 games. So earned runs went up. In 52 games this season, went up that far in just 2 games. Bullpen ERA is 5.50 with a 172 whip. Opponents are batting 280. It's a combined for 5.72. Now you're up to 60 committed errors. You've dropped now to dead last in the Big 12. That part has now come back to bite you. Your defense on the mound and in the field, absolutely atrocious. But your Big 12 season is done. You've got the tournament next week. No midweek to complain about losing, but you've got a Arizona tournament, Arizona State on Thursday night. And then you get two games, UNLV and Arizona State again, doubleheader on Friday afternoon, Friday night. And I guess that's to make sure you're back and rested and ready to go for the Big 12 tournament because games start. First pitch of the Big 12 tournament is on Tuesday.
Yes, which as the 10 seed, Tech will definitely be taking part in.
Yeah, you'll probably like the first
10
game.
a.m. Tuesday morning, or whenever first pitch of the tournament is.
Let's see. Let's pull it up real quick. Let's look at the bracket. Game one. No, actually, so stupid. No, the 10 seed is the last game that night.
Oh,
7:30 first pitch. Although it will probably be like a 9 o'clock first pitch. Let's be honest.
probably because they know that's the only time people will get to watch the 10 seed play, so they put it at a good time. That's nice. That's nice of them.
Game one is 6-7. Game two is 4-9. Game three is 5-8. Game four is 3-10.
Well, is this double elimination?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so they might play twice.
You're gonna have to play twice, at least twice.
Well, weather. I just keep thinking of some reason why they only play one, even though I don't think weather is going to be a problem.
And then if you were to
Hurricane.
lose game one versus the number 3 seed, you would play the loser between the 5-8 game on Wednesday afternoon at 4. Big 12 baseball standings. Let's get that. Who's the 3 seed, Michael? West Virginia. Okay, don't hate that.
Tech swept them. No problem.
It's now, been a month since you won a game, but
those were 3 of the ones you won.
You may need to see them again to get the things going the right way.
There it is.
So the other game you'd be playing, I said what the 5-8? 5, 6, 7. There'd be Cincinnati, Kansas State, which you didn't play either of them. So
fresh blood. That's the way you look at it. On the way to the championship.
But if you win game one versus West Virginia, game 4 winner, when do you play that?
If West Virginia is still third.
Yeah, that's true. If West Virginia's still third at the beginning of this.
I think things could shuffle still a little bit.
It'll be the lower seeded winner of games 3 and 4 versus the 2 seed. So if you make it through and win game 1, then you get to play Oklahoma State, assuming standings hold. So that'll be fun. You want to talk about this weekend, or like just I don't like it doesn't really matter at all.
No, I mean I put them up there. The only thing I really wanted to point out was UNLV. Tech should beat them like a drum. We'll see if that's how that's going to happen. They are 6th out of 7 teams in the Mountain West. There's only 7 teams that play baseball there, with a 12-18 record. Arizona State's kind of salty in the conference. They're 18-12 in Pac-12 play, so that lands them at 5th right now. And if there's like a Spider-Man meme,
yeah,
these games may all be like 15-14. The 2 games that they play against Arizona State. So I have no idea what to expect there. Their fielding percentage is not good either, but UNLV's is worse. Arizona State has an ERA of 6.5.
Yikes.
UNLV's at 6.2. Batting average though, Arizona State has a better batting average than Tech. They're at 308. TTU's at 305. UNLV's at 301. Every game may, have an over/under of 28 runs total.
Yeah. The Spider-Man meme, I think, is spot on with Arizona State. I mean, offensively, everything's within a few points. Defensively, like their batting average against is almost identical. The big difference is their ERA. When Arizona State's combined ERA is 6.56, Texas Tech is 5.72. As bad as our pitching has been, Arizona State's been worse. They walk more guys. They've given them more home runs. They've given them more runs. They do strike out a ton of batters. So 518 strikeouts on the season for them, where you've struck out 452 guys.
And apparently, we like to strike out now, so could be
Oh, we struck a bunch.
a bad recipe. Walking into Phoenix. Walking to Phoenix.
So, is it time for Weathered? I
Whenever you're ready, you can play Weathered whenever you want. I don't know if you're going to do that as an outro, or just to listen to it.
I just didn't
Ooh,
know where it
all right.
fit.
So our team's weathered. We're weathered talking about them. This is, I think. All right, here comes Scott. Hang on. So I think this is the first season that's been this bad since we've been doing the podcast. So I don't even know how to act.
I'm not even sure what the like we're gonna be hitting the postseason here at like May, whereas like we've been holding on middle of June sometimes, late June. I don't even know. I don't know what to do with my hands. Do you think I mean I don't even know where to fall in this because like there are some people that will defend Tadlock to the end of the earth. I'm not saying Tadlock has to be fired.
Oh gosh, no.
That's not where I'm at. I'm not saying like he has to make staff changes. I think he has to acknowledge that things need to change. Maybe he has. I don't know. One of the biggest things is like Tadlock is definitely an old school coach. And there have been comments he's made that like he's one of those guys that is maybe even actively ignoring or being ignorant of NIL and transfer portal in the modern era. Like obviously they use the transfer portal because that's how they got like Max Huffling. But also like he's done nothing for you. You've lost your best guys. Like the portal has been draining the talent from the Tech baseball roster, not replenishing it.
I'm not calling for people's heads either. I think the only thing that I can say that would possibly make sense is they should take a look at how they evaluate talent and go through that with a fine-tooth comb and figure out why the guys that they did get didn't work. And okay, let's adjust what we look for maybe, or let's change that aspect of it as opposed to let's fire everybody and start, let's tweak how we define what is a good baseball player for Texas Tech. And then, as you said, maybe getting more involved or trying to seek out NIL a little bit more. Get some opportunities for players that may entice some bigger names to come here. But it's just, based off what we know, they got every player they wanted. Obviously, the guys that left, they didn't want them to leave. But if they got every player they wanted and they still played like this, then maybe it's time to evaluate the players you want.
Yeah, and I will. I'll even defend some of the pitching this year because I'll say you've been without some of your bigger guys, your key guys that you're probably leaning on or expected to step up this year. Washburn's not been the guy that you expected. He sat out last year with an injury, came back, and maybe it was just him coming back from injury. Maybe this is what he's always been like because we didn't get to see him last year. But he was one of those guys, like the second time through the lineup, like they were just mashing against him. His stuff looked good. It had good movement on it, but like the second time up, everybody had him figured out. And that led you pushing guys into starting roles that you weren't expecting to. Hewer moved from the bullpen to a starting, and as a true freshman did pretty well. Ryan Free got moved from the bullpen to the starting spot. You had a starter, Trumbello, with one game, then suffered what may end up being a career-ending injury. Like we're not sure how that's going to play out for him. You expected Jacob Rogers to not be the heel that he is. I mean, good gracious. Uh, Trenton Parrish has missed most of the season. He showed up in 11 games and um, was still kind of the wild card and a little bit wild. But when you look at his numbers and what the other guys around him have done, you're like, I probably wouldn't I wouldn't sneeze at that. I mean, in almost 20 innings of work, he was carrying a 3.66 ERA. Opponents are batting 250 against him. It's not terrible. But like other guys in the bullpen, like nobody's thrown 20 innings. I guess the closest one, Jacob Rogers has thrown almost 26 and 2/3. He's carrying a 7 ERA. Opponents are batting 325 against him. Max Huffling and Derek Bridges both have 11 and a third innings. Bridges ERA 6.35. Huffling's is 9.53. Cole Kase 13 and 2/3 innings, 6.58 ERA, 2.80 batting average. Hudson Loose 13 and a third innings, 10.13 ERA, 3.61. Like guys that have pitched a lot of innings around him, like same type of numbers, just getting blasted. Whereas Parrish, like you kind of knew like he was kind of wild and like you kind of had to deal with it, but like comparing to the guys around him, like yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Brendan Lysick, 14 innings, 5.79 ERA, but opponents are only batting 200 against him. I feel like you've had just a small handful of guys that you would feel comfortable and confident with coming out of the bullpen. And that's Josh Sanders and Parker Hutera. Sanders so far has thrown 39 and a third innings this season, 2.75 ERA, and Hutera 30 innings with a 2.40 ERA. Like those two guys have been nails for most of the season. Like they've had their struggles and some recently, and I think Hutera has been a little bit more visible, and he's lost some of those walk-off wins against you, where like you walk the bases loaded and then hit the batter, and you force in a run like that, or that one against Arkansas, where you had a 7-run lead and like you just couldn't get it out in the ninth. So like I would defend some of the pitching. You've had to deal with management of the roster a little bit differently because guys didn't step up the way you expected them to or they should have. And you've also had to deal go without guys. And Tabor Fast only pitched in 5 games this year, and he was one of the guys that you were expecting to be a starter this year. 8 innings in his five games. You dealt with, like I said, missing Parrish for most of the season. He's only showed up in 11 games.
So the pitching, you're not blaming the pitching coach for all of the woes. I'm not blaming or calling for people's heads, but something needs to change. Something that they have been sticking with for whatever reason is no longer working, and I just think it's worth reevaluating.
I'm not
their
saying
thought process.
I'm not saying that there's no blame, like that he's blameless.
Well, sure,
because
but
when you look at like
you're also not calling for firing either necessarily.
Well, I don't know, because like you look at a guy like Kyle Robinson, like your ace this year, ERA north of 5. Opponents batting 270 against him. Jack Washburn was your number 2 starter, ERA above 6. Mac Hewer, ERA just under 6. Ryan Free, ERA of almost 7. Your midweek guys have been Zane Petty and Erdman. Like Kyle Robinson has your lowest starting pitching ERA at 5, and that's entirely too high. Like some of that, like that has to fall somewhere. on development or whatever, or just like not having guys in the right role, you're starting pitching carrying a 6.02 ERA is redonkulous. And I say that only because we've been watching How Much Your Mother recently. Sorry. So that's what I got. I mean, it sucks. Your defense should never be this bad. Your fielding percentage. I mean, I thought you had so many options for your infield, and it's like you're playing guys because that's literally the only spot they can be. And even then, it's not good enough. So
We even talked longer than Weathered, and that's like a 5.5-minute song.
I can play it again.
No.
I don't think we're done. It is five. It's exactly 5.5 minutes.
I'm ready to talk about snow cones.
Can I confess something, Michael? I was
Yes. Always, Spencer.
I had held this dislike towards Creed, and I think it was mainly because of
How dare you.
Higher. Because
Sure.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the lead singer's voice, his tone, whatever it was. It just rubbed me the wrong way. But like listening to them with the Ranger stuff and like that song tonight, I was like, I could probably give them another shot.
Okay.
They remind me a little bit of like musically of Seether. You
I
familiar
guess
with
I guess I
Seether?
could see that, but Creed was before Seether, as far as I know.
Yeah.
90, 99, 98, something like that.
I like Seether, so I could probably get on board with Creed if I can just get over like my long held belief that I just didn't like them.
Yes.
Because maybe I do like them.
I'm gonna see them in September.
Okay. Do I need to like if I'm gonna get into Creed here, do I need to go to this album,
Weathered?
Weathered?
Yeah.
My sacrifice.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great place to start. I mean, they only have like 3 or 4 CDs, so you can just dive in. Just go to Spotify and just queue it up, man.
Well, I've got Apple Music, so I can go that way.
I would also throw out
Human Clay or My Own Prison.
I'm horrible with remembering what's on albums.
Okay,
I think
Human
My Own Prison, it
Clay-
was their first one.
It was. So Human Clay has Are You Ready? What If? Beautiful. Say I. Wrong Way. Faceless Man. Never Die. With Arms Wide Open. Higher. Wash Away Those Tears. Inside Us All.
Okay, Are You Ready is probably my favorite on that one. That's really good. But what album has Hide? I think that's My Own Prison. That's like a sneaky good one. That's not one that gets played very much.
No, Hyde is not on that one.
I kind of feel like you've got to start with My Own Prison because that's just album number 1. That's what sets the tone.
Okay.
It's the tone setter.
I'll work through their discography. How about that? Just listen to it all.
Okay. Yeah, because there's only I think there's just 4.
They don't have a song called Hide. You just made that up.
No, they do.
Not on those 4 albums.
Is it No Reason to Hide?
Okay, it's not in My Own Prison.
It's from Weathered.
It's not in Creed. That one. There it is. Okay. Yep, there it is.
Yep,
Track number
there
9.
it is. Everyone heard. Everyone witnessed. Witness me.
You're right. Okay. Let's get to
my
questions.
Creed authority. Creed. Don't question my Creed authority.
All right, let's get to questions.
Okay.
And what do we learn? So let's do snow cone flavors, Michael. That was a question that came up last week. Based on some baseball game shenanigans with Little League. Quick Little League update. It's over. Grayson's season is done.
Soccer update. It's also over. Ended with a lightning delay. Beautiful.
We didn't have
just
any
ended with lightning.
we didn't have any games rescheduled. Whether we had a big delay. The one time we had a game delayed or weathered out. It's just delayed.
Weathered, man. Just
Weathered.
That's the theme. It's the theme
Okay.
tonight.
So snow cones. Got a handful of flavors, Michael, and we're gonna stick with the first part of this. We're gonna rank and choose our favorite like solo flavors, and then we can get into like mixes and others that I think may fit better in like a shaved ice type of category, but also cannot be discounted here. So cherry, blue coconut, blue raspberry, pickle, grape. I don't know if I've ever seen this one, but you put on here banana, pink bubblegum. I've definitely seen that, and mango. So that's 8. You want to go like a 1 through 8, or you want to pick like a top 4, top 2, just a 1? How you want to handle that?
Let's do. I'm going to pick my top 4 of those flavors, and I think I mean cherry. Cherry's hard. That's really tough to beat. It's
My complaint
universal.
with cherries is it's going to stain whatever it touches.
Probably yes.
Mouth, your shirt,
Yes. The seat of your truck.
seat of your car. Yeah.
The kid that you're holding.
Yeah.
Did you ever do
all
that?
over them.
Are you? I mean, because your little one's still. I mean, you're obviously still holding her a lot. That happened with mine on occasion where I would be eating or something and I'd be holding my kid and I'd realize, oh my gosh,
They're wearing a lot of what I was eating.
I'm so sorry.
The worst of that ever happening, Michael, is when we held one of our babies was they were sleeping, but we were eating over them. And you just like look down like, oh, they caught a lot of that rice.
Yeah. Huh, that's a lot of corn. I just I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought I could do this.
Peppered with half my meal, but here we go.
Yeah. Some mac and cheese down there, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting cherry
okay.
as number 1 for me.
Okay. You want to alternate, or you want just to take your top?
Let's
4?
alternate. You go.
Okay.
You go next.
Okay, so my number 1 would be blue raspberry. I don't know why it has to be blue, because there are a couple of flavors here that get tied with the blue coloring. I don't like the coloring of blue. It doesn't add anything. But raspberry has got to be my favorite.
From this list, man, this is a really tough one for me to make. I think I'm going to go banana.
Okay.
I think banana is my number 2. I'm surprised that you seemed surprised that this existed.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a banana snow cone. Okay.
So underrated. One of my favorite things to do, and I don't think this really counts as a mix. I like to get banana and something else. Like, they'll do a half and half, kind of like right down the middle.
Yeah, that's good.
Banana and cherry is a good one. Banana and mango is a good one. What else is there? There's a ton. I'm sure grape would be good. Anyway, banana's an underrated flavor, and part of the reason I like it so much is you can just kind of throw it in with whatever else you've got, and it'll be pretty good.
Okay, I'll have to trust you on that. Because I don't want to miss out here. I think my number 2 is going to be pickle.
That's all you, brother.
Dang it! I could
You
have
had one of them. You had one of them pickle Dr. Peppers?
No.
Ugh, good Lord. People just do anything on the internet, won't they?
Yeah. So okay, hold on. We have it down here as an other or a mix. Cotton candy. Is that a mixed, or is that its own flavor?
No, that's its own flavor. I didn't realize that was down there. Yeah, because I couldn't decide if I didn't even see that down there, but I didn't know if I wanted to put cotton candy or pink bubble gum down, because they're kind of hand in hand. But they are different.
If we move it up though, then it's going to throw off our numbers.
Yeah, you got to keep it down there.
We're going to keep it down there. Okay. Otherwise, that would probably be me not my number 2, especially now that I heard that you're gonna pass on it. All right, you're taking pink bubble gum, huh?
Yeah, pink bubble gum's number 3 for me because it's also a good mixer, and banana and pink bubble gum or banana and cotton candy delicious. That's the move. If you have the option.
Okay. I'm trying to be strategic here and not get left with the fourth that I just absolutely will not eat. I'm going to take blue coconut as my third.
That's all you, man. I
Dang
am
it.
not a fan of artificial coconut.
I am not a fan of artificial, this other one. So it like legit gives me PTSD of Diamond Tap. Bad
Well,
cold
I'll leave
medicine
it for
me.
you then.
No. See, I should have. Dang it.
So with my fourth pick, I'm taking mango.
That was stupid. I knew you wanted mango.
Yeah. Everyone wants the mango.
All right. With my fourth pick, I'm taking cotton candy.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just
That's
kidding.
fair. You don't have to take grape.
Grape is just terrible. I hate artificial.
It's such a strong flavor. It's so strong.
Like I love grapes, red, green, whatever.
Yeah.
I
had grapes today.
I cannot do artificial grape.
No, it's nothing.
Artificial banana is also bad to me, but
Whatever. Banana runts are the best runts.
definitely not as bad as grape though.
Yeah. Banana runts are the best runts, and banana Laffy Taffy is the best taffy for a reason, because people like banana flavored things, even though it doesn't taste like banana at all. Sometimes it
Just
smells like it.
Just like grape does not taste like grape.
No, but it's just banana's such a lighter, happier flavor. Grape's too serious. Grape's a very serious, deep, dark flavor. We
and
don't
for
need
like
that.
as advanced as we've come in drink flavors, you think we'd get close, and maybe they have gotten close. You're like, people would just not accept this. It's been too ingrained.
Even grape juice is kind of like, well, yeah, it's made out of grapes, but then we add 3 cups of sugar per 1 cup of juice, so it doesn't really taste like grapes anymore either.
All right, so my number 4 grape, I would absolutely never order that for me. I would never eat that. I would never.
I would probably do banana and grape though, because I feel like the banana would kind of, hey, calm down. Calm down over there, Purple. Why don't you back off a little bit?
Take it easy.
Yeah. Slow down. So on the mixes, I asked my wife before we logged on, because we haven't gotten shaved ice or snow cone together in what it feels like a couple of years or something. And I was like, what's the one you like? I knew there was one she liked. She likes blue coconut, as do you, but with cream. So especially at Bahama Bucks and certain places,
you can add cream to a lot of their stuff.
Yes, and that is definitely her jam, and that is all her, because like I said, fake coconut flavor I want no part of. Real coconut, fine. If it's in a cake, let's do this. If it's coconut water, I'm gonna throw up. Just the worst. Coconut milk is actually okay somehow. And I've enjoyed some coconut milk ice cream. But man, just wonder how many times I can say the word coconut. All right, I'll stop.
Okay. So of the ones listed here, next, like if I can take a mix, like the pina colada or one of those style of offshoots of a tropical drink there, that's up there. Bahama Bucks does a pina colada strawberry daiquiri, which is really good. Jamaican rum and Jamaican punch mix is a pretty good one.
The wedding cake, or I think they have a wedding cake that both my wife and daughter really liked. That flavor is really good, apparently.
Strawberry colada, like I'm just any of their tropical ones. My goodness.
Yeah. Which it all comes back to mango, sort of, kind of. Man, now I want to shaved ice, and it's going to be hot this weekend. This is the perfect time. Let's go to Bahama Bucks.
Yeah, Bahama Bucks, play some games.
Not a sponsor, should be. I'll drop them a card. Do we have cards? I'll talk to our HR
Sugar-free thin ice flavors.
marketing
what is this?
department.
Strawberry cheesecake? Hold the phone.
See, I don't know about that.
Hold the phone.
I don't know about that. That's a weird texture to taste like cheesecake.
But
A non-dairy product to taste like cheesecake?
the shaved ice at Bahama Bucks is pretty smooth. It's
It
not like
is.
a snow cone crunch.
Well, maybe if it's a cream sauce, that sauce flavor, and not a syrup. I don't think I could do a syrup. If it was a creamy topping, like they do have those creams, but man, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
It's
you can
crossing
add
the
in.
streams for me.
So this is at Bahama Bucks. You can add in ice cream, but they also have toppings. Vanilla Bahama Rama Mama. I just wanted to say that.
Just want to order that.
The chocolate Bahama Rama Mama. Oreo cookie extreme. Mango nata. Chamoy, mangoes, chili salt, and tamarindos.
Oh man, my wife would love that too.
Then you got all kinds of candies. Gummies, Sour Patch.
Sour
Nerds,
Patch. I remember that
Warhead
was
sour spray. Yes,
Ugh.
please. Chili salt. Cinnamon sugar.
Just give me banana. Just give me some banana.
You just
some
want
mango or some pink bubble gum, and we'll be just fine. Maybe cherry.
I think we may be going to Bahama Bucks this weekend now too.
Yeah, I think that's pretty settled.
All right, because we still have so much to talk about with what did we learn. Let's get there and then wrap it up. What do you say?
Yep.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either.
All right, food related, Michael. I've got two things, and then we can move on to your food related stuff.
Okay.
Talked about it earlier. The coconut cream Dr. Pepper. It finally hit stores in Lubbock. I was finally able to get some. Have you had it?
I have not. I have not.
Do you like Dr. Pepper?
It's fine.
Okay.
I don't not like it. It's good. It's okay.
Well, and you also you talked about not liking coconut too much, but
yeah,
the thing with this, flavored sodas, I think go a little too strong, especially when they come pre-mixed. This has a really strong coconut flavor. So much so, I don't drink this with a meal. Like it's too powerful. We have a 12-pack of this, and because it's special and we had to find it off sale, we had to spend $9 for this 12-pack, which is freaking ridiculous. But it's been designated as like a snack drink.
Yes.
Like we drink sodas with our meals. We don't usually drink sodas between meals. But the Dr. Pepper creamy coconut ones are the snack ones because we can't drink it with a meal. It's too strong. Having said that, like I'm not one that maybe close to you where you think like the artificial coconut flavor tastes like sunscreen. That's not me. I've had somebody tell me like that tastes like you put sunscreen in a Dr. Pepper. I'm a fan. It's a little strong, but I like it. Also, one more thing. Michael, have you heard of an after dinner walk?
I sense where this is going. Go ahead.
Supposedly, in the food, nutrition, health realm, taking a short walk after you've allowed your dinner to settle a little bit, hit your stomach and settle, fairly beneficial, advantageous to you as the partaker. For many, it helps keep things moving, helps reduce bloating, all this kind of stuff. What it turns into, and you just have to kind of expect it. It's an after dinner fart walk.
There it is.
Whatever reason, much more so than if you were you're just sitting on the couch after dinner or whatever. All the movement kind of works things out. It's actually an enjoyable experiment to get outside and be moving and to not feel like just absolutely crap after eating dinner. And then just like I'm gonna let it rip, and it's not really gonna bother anybody because I'm outside. We went on a after dinner walk tonight before it got too stormy. Grayson actually, before we left, picked at his dinner and said, "I don't feel too well. My stomach's a little iffy." I'm like, "Oh, well, we'll just go on a walk. We want to do this thing," and came back ravenous. You know why, Michael? He was farting up a storm
Oh boy.
all on the walk. He was ready to go. Came home and had dinner. So
There you go.
if you haven't tried it, eat your dinner, give it 20 minutes, whatever, to settle, and then go on a 10-minute walk around the neighborhood. It's the move, man.
The movement.
Yep.
For the movement.
For the movement.
Okay. I have heard some of this, but man, and probably because I just grew up overeating all the time. That's like always the last thing I ever wanted to do was any sort of physical activity after eating. But I'm better now.
You don't have to go for a run.
No, I know, but it was just I couldn't imagine leaving the couch.
Oh, yeah. Same. But it's been nice.
Well, moving on from the fart walk.
After dinner fart walk, it's a thing, okay?
I too had a soda that I quite enjoyed that I had been looking for, and I found it at the checkout aisle at
That's what they get you.
at Walmart. Well, I was looking for it. I was ready to be a mark. I was completely there. Cherry lime Sprite. It's kind of a cloudy Sprite. Did you ever have the kind of cloudy white Powerade or Gatorade? They were
Yeah.
some form of cherry something.
Why it was white, no idea, but yeah.
Yeah, that never made any sense to me either. But this is basically that same version of that, but just carbonated. It's fantastic. It's one that I would probably purposefully not buy a 12-pack of because I would just demolish it or something. Very good. If you enjoy Sprite at all, or cherry limeades from Sonic or cherry Powerades or anything like that, check out the cherry lime Sprite if you see it.
I do like the cherry Sprite. The cherry?
Well, I don't see that hardly
Or-
anymore. I used to see cherry 7 Up, but I don't know if I see
Well,
cherry
those are
Sprite.
good
There's
too.
Sprite cranberry around Christmas, which I somehow it's been around for years and I still haven't tried one. I want to though. The other thing I learned, we decided to do takeout for Mother's Day on Saturday. It was a hit. Pulled up to Chewy's at 11:30 Sunday morning. They loaded me up with, not a sponsor, by the way.
Nobody's a
Should be.
sponsor, to be honest.
No, it's a sponsor.
Still pining after that Caprock queso sponsor.
Caprock Queso, but the official
It's ne-
podcast of Caprock Cafe Queso.
It's never coming, let's be honest.
No. But Chewy's had a family pack. I pulled up, I got the fajita pack. There were 4 adults and a child who ate on that for lunch. And then 3 of us had it for leftovers for dinner. And then I think I had it for lunch the next day. And then I think I finished it today. I thought I finished it today at lunch, but there was still some sauce left. So I made some nachos for dinner tonight. I mean,
it's the gift that keeps giving.
it was, and it was great every time. It was never like, oh man, there's still some of this left. Fajitas, takeout, brought it home. Bing, bang, boom. Everybody was happy. Played some games. Called it a day. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Samantha would have requested steak for our Mother's Day lunch, but we did that with the whole family for dinner Sunday. So she's like, you know what? I've been really craving one of your pulled pork butts.
Beautiful.
So I put that in the smoker Saturday night, along with a singular beef rib I got from HEB, which is the move. If you can't eat the whole rack of beef ribs, look for the single cut, or just go up to the butcher counter and ask, like, hey, can I just get one?
It's basically like a giant burn end.
Yeah, and it's
I mean,
fantastic. It
just the-
took it got up way fast temperature wise, but then when it got to the actual smoking and breaking down, it slowed down. The singular beef, I think it was total 8 ounces of meat. It took 4.5 hours on the smoker
You get 275 ish.
and 250. I was trying to
250.
slow it down, and it was on the far end of the smoker too. It's like I know this is gonna go fast. But it actually timed out at the exact same time I needed to wrap the pork butt. So I was like, great, just pull it off.
Have
And
a
it
little
rested.
snack.
Yeah, well, it rested until lunch, which was fine. Your injection recipe, like we just can't do pork butt without it.
Yeah.
I had to replace my injector. I had one of those Tony Sachery's one that you get with like the bottle.
And you just like stab it, and then you.
Yeah, but that
Hook
one
it, yeah.
broke. So I'm like, well, fine, I'll just we're doing this enough. I'll buy a legit metal one, and it worked exactly one time before the needle would not connect to the body. I couldn't get it to reconnect. It's like, well, this is trash. Do it
Man,
away.
I've had mine for years. I've really lucked out.
So I bought a new one, but yeah, we did pulled pork for lunch, and we'll be eating on that for a while because it's just the two of us eating on it, which is fantastic. I don't care. And then we had steaks. They weren't good steaks. Just, oof. My father-in-law provided the steaks, and he bought steaks for 25 of us.
Oh my goodness.
But what they were, it's like a lean roast that was cut into steaks, and then he had them in gallon bags marinating.
Well, that should have helped. That should have.
The problem is you can't get this marinade off the steak, so when you put it on it was cooked on a Blackstone. Also, not a great combination. It
So it
just sits there
charred
and
the hell out of it.
no, it just sits there and like boils.
Mm.
Because you can't sear it because the surface isn't dry, and it never will dry unless you burn it. So we had uh, what is that called? We had poached steak Sunday night.
Sous vide. It was sous vide. Everyone, that's the rage.
No, whatever.
Sous vide on the Blackstone.
Okay, two more things. One, I know how much you love the local media here in town.
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
definitely listeners and fans of 23 Personnel.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw it. KLBK posted 2 hours ago. Just in one of their poll, like we're just begging for engagement. Which restaurants in Lubbock have the best ranch?
Someone was. Did. Were they listening in before we started recording?
I don't know. Because it says it was posted 2 hours ago.
Hmm.
But that would have been before we hit record. I will have to add some of these to the ranch bracket that we're going to talk
Yeah,
about.
I know. We're actually. I thought that too.
Okay.
I thought, well, you might check out and see
Ranch
who they are.
bracket. Okay. Texas Roadhouse was on there a couple times. Wingstop, obviously. Dion's Blue Sky. Orlando's, and it's not even close, this person says. Wingstop. Chewy's has some great jalapeno ranch. Is that the same stuff where the jalapeno cream sauce?
Yes. Yeah, but it's not ranch. They don't call it that. It's just like creamy jalapeno sauce, but it's a white sauce. I guess it could be ranch-esque. Slim's
Something
Cayenne
different.
Ranch.
Something different is on this list a couple times with all caps.
I can't remember their ranch. That doesn't mean anything one way or the other. I just don't remember it if I've had it.
I work with a girl that said this: Classic Ranch, Dion's, Orlando's Blue Sky, Jalapeno Ranch, Chewy's, Chipotle Ranch, Slim Chickens, Caprock,
What's-
Orlando's.
It's Cayenne Ranch at Slim's Chickens.
Yeah.
Not, what was it?
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Double Dave's. Screw Double Dave's.
Hey, it's
Them
for
and
fun.
their College Station backwards Like you built a restaurant chain on the buffet and then took it away, and now you're wondering why you're failing. I have an idea for you. Bring back the buffet. Your pizza's not good enough to order out. It's not that kind of pizza. There, I said it. Okay. Last thing, because you and I are both old. I had a visceral reaction to hearing this said out in the wild today, Michael. And I'm just like, I can't. When somebody says it's giving around you, what do you think? What do you feel?
What's the context? This is a thing? This is a thing people say?
Oh no, you haven't even heard it. Well, okay.
No, I even read this and I was like, reaction to it's giving. And I was like Thanksgiving?
It's no. So it's one of those things where like it's part of a phrase it gets chopped down and whatever. So basically, in full context, they're saying that something is giving off a certain kind of vibe, or
Oh,
um,
what?
it's giving off a certain feeling, or what, however you want to define that. But what ends up happening, like today, this person said it's giving Dallas. I rolled my eyes and walked away. This 20-something's like, what did I just offend him?
Like there's
I
too
had a
many things
visceral
to
reaction. I just no. I just walked away.
I need
I
to
was
go
at
on
work.
I need to go on a fart walk.
This was at work. We had an event. We buried a time capsule. I actually put the dang thing in the ground. This girl walked up and was like, it's giving Dallas. I was like,
What?
bye. I walked away.
Let's put that in the time capsule and never use it again.
Let's lock that up.
Let's lock that away. Throw away the key. Can we concrete backfill over this time capsule?
It's giving. I hate it.
I without context, I struggled through it for a while and I thought, okay, maybe it's someone. This is someone's reaction in a positive way, or even a negative but ironic way. Like, how's your Monday going? Oh, it's giving. I don't know. That's what that's what I thought it might mean.
No.
So it's
worse.
short for. I don't even know. So when she said that, she meant it's giving Dallas vibes.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What she was referring to is she was getting at some kind of similar feelings or nostalgia or whatever for some Dallas area parks based on how our new courtyard at our new patient tower was at the hospital. Apparently there are enough similarities that she said it's giving Dallas. And I was like, I am done. There are a lot of things the younger generation now says that like I can understand, I can follow, I can even appreciate. This one I can't.
I kind of like chat. I kind of like when they call everybody chat. I don't know why, but that bothers me not at all.
That's born out of the streaming generation.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody's
any
on-
context though, like if
Okay,
someone,
chat.
yeah, cool.
Have you heard of?
I know what you mean. I'm
have
with
you heard of a Grext?
No.
I learned this today. It's simple. It's a group text,
Oh, come on.
but they're just calling it a Grext now.
Did it need a word?
No,
It's already got one. It's chat.
but just like no cap and on God, I was like, oh my gosh, can we? Yeah. Other things that like when somebody says it unironically, I'm like, I can't take you seriously. I'm walking away.
What is it? Oh, it's giving me. It's giving what?
It's giving retirement home. This
It's
conversation.
giving cringe. It's giving cringe. I can't even figure. I can't even fumble my way through making that saying work.
It's not giving Riz. I probably didn't do that one right either.
It's
taking Riz. Oh, okay. That's got to be it. I
that's
can't.
it.
Anyways, That'll do it for us in 23 Personnel Podcast. We will be getting back to the restaurant sauce bracket, inviting you listeners to join us, help us work through that. For tonight, for Michael, I'm Spencer. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you for listening to the 23 Personnel Podcast. Help us out by subscribing, rating the show, and leaving a review. Follow us on Twitter at 23 Personnel, Spencer at PuntSuck, and Michael at Michael_LBK. Be sure to catch the next episode. And until then, guns up and let the tortillas fly.